The foundation of American democracy: presidential elections. The United States presidential election is a cornerstone of American democracy. It's a process where citizens choose their leader. This election happens every 4 years. The president has immense power. They lead the nation and shape its future. From the very beginning, these elections have been full of drama and consequence. They reflect the hopes and fears of the American people. Each election offers a chance for change and a new direction for the country. The outcome of each election has a profound impact on American society. It influences everything from the economy to social justice. Understanding the history of these elections is crucial. It helps us understand the evolution of American democracy itself. The story of U.S. presidential elections is a long and fascinating one. It's a story of evolving political landscapes, social movements, and the constant struggle to create a more perfect union. The early republic, shaping the presidency, 1789 to 1824. This period was crucial in defining the role and powers of the executive branch in the newly formed United States. The first U.S. presidential election in 1789 marked the beginning of a new era. It was a time of great anticipation and hope for the future of the nation. George Washington, a revered figure, was unanimously elected as the first president. His leadership and character set a precedent for all future presidents. This election set the stage for the development of the young nation. Washington's presidency was instrumental in establishing the protocols and traditions of the executive office. The early years saw the rise of political factions. These factions were the seeds of what would become the American political party system. These factions eventually evolved into the two-party system. The Federalists and the Democratic Republicans emerged as the dominant political forces. The Federalist Party, led by Alexander Hamilton, favored a strong central government. They believed that a robust federal authority was essential for the nation's stability and growth. The Democratic Republican Party, led by Thomas Jefferson, advocated for states' rights. They argued that individual states should have more power to govern themselves. The election of 1796 saw the first contested presidential race. This election was a significant test of the new nation's political system. John Adams, a Federalist, narrowly defeated Thomas Jefferson. This close race highlighted the competitive nature of American politics. This election highlighted the growing partisan divide in the country. The rivalry between the Federalists and Democratic Republicans became more pronounced. The election of 1800 was a pivotal moment in American history. It was a contentious and fiercely fought battle between the two main political parties. Thomas Jefferson and Aaron Burr tied in the Electoral College. This unprecedented situation created a constitutional crisis. The election went to the House of Representatives. After much debate and multiple ballots, the decision was finally made. After a long and contentious process, Jefferson was elected president. His victory marked a significant shift in the political landscape. This election led to the passage of the 12th Amendment. This crucial amendment changed the way the Electoral College operated. This amendment changed the Electoral College process to prevent future ties. It required separate votes for president and vice president. The election of 1824 was another controversial election. It was marked by intense political maneuvering and accusations of corruption. Andrew Jackson won the popular vote but did not secure a majority in the Electoral College. This led to a highly disputed and contentious decision-making process. The election was decided in the House of Representatives. This decision was seen by many as a backroom deal that undermined the will of the people. John Quincy Adams was chosen as president. His selection further fueled the debate over the Electoral College and its role in American democracy. This election further exposed the complexities of the Electoral College system. It highlighted the need for ongoing reforms to ensure fair and democratic elections. The rise of the two-party system and expanding suffrage, 1828 to 1860. The period between 1828 and 1860 witnessed significant changes in American politics. The two-party system solidified, creating a new dynamic in the political landscape. The Democratic Party, descended from the Democratic Republicans, emerged as a dominant force under Andrew Jackson's leadership. Jackson's appeal to the common man and his populist rhetoric resonated with many Americans. The Whig Party, formed in opposition to Jackson, advocated for modernization and economic development. They sought to challenge Jackson's policies and promote a vision of progress and infrastructure improvement. This era also saw an expansion of voting rights for white men. The democratization of the electoral process was a significant shift from previous restrictions. Property ownership requirements were gradually abolished, allowing a broader segment of the population to vote. This change was instrumental in shaping the future of American democracy. This allowed more citizens to participate in the political process, fostering a sense of inclusion and representation among the electorate. The election of 1828 was a watershed moment. It was marked by intense campaigning and a high voter turnout, reflecting the growing political engagement of the American public. Andrew Jackson, a populist hero, was elected president. His victory was seen as a triumph for the common man over the established political elite. This election marked the rise of mass democracy in America. Jackson's presidency symbolized a shift towards greater political participation and the empowerment of ordinary citizens. Jackson's presidency ushered in an era of Jacksonian democracy, characterized by its emphasis on the common man. His policies and leadership style left a lasting impact on American politics. The election of 1840 saw the Whigs win the presidency with William Henry Harrison. This victory demonstrated the Whig Party's ability to mobilize voters and challenge the Democrats. This election was notable for its innovative campaign tactics, including catchy slogans and popular songs. The Whigs' use of these strategies set new standards for political campaigning. However, Harrison's presidency was short-lived. His untimely death just 1 month after taking office led to a period of uncertainty and transition. He died just 1 month after taking office, making his presidency the shortest in American history. This event underscored the fragility of political leadership during that era. The election of 1860 was a pivotal event leading up to the Civil War. The nation was at a crossroads, with deep divisions over the issue of slavery threatening to tear the country apart. The nation was deeply divided over the issue of slavery. The debates and conflicts surrounding this issue highlighted the growing tensions between the North and the South. Abraham Lincoln, the Republican candidate, campaigned on a platform of preventing the expansion of slavery. His stance resonated with many in the North, but it also intensified fears in the South. His victory triggered the secession of several Southern states. This secession set the stage for the Civil War, a conflict that would ultimately determine the future of the United States. A nation divided elections during the Civil War and Reconstruction, 1864 to 1876. This period was marked by intense conflict and profound transformation in the United States. The Civil War, 1861 to 1865, cast a long shadow over American politics. The war not only divided the nation geographically but also politically, creating deep rifts that would take years to heal. The 1864 election took place against the backdrop of a bloody conflict. The nation was weary from years of fighting, and the outcome of the election would determine the future course of the war and the nation. Abraham Lincoln faced off against George McClellan, a former Union general. McClellan ran on a platform of negotiating peace with the Confederacy, while Lincoln was committed to continuing the fight until the Union was restored. Lincoln's re-election affirmed the North's commitment to preserving the Union. His victory was seen as a mandate to continue the war effort and ultimately led to the Union's victory. His assassination just days after the war ended sent shockwaves through the nation. The loss of Lincoln was a devastating blow to a country already reeling from years of conflict. The Reconstruction era, 1865 to 1877, saw efforts to rebuild the South and integrate formerly enslaved people into society. This period was marked by significant political, social, and economic changes as the nation sought to heal and move forward. The 1876 election was one of the most disputed in American history. The nation was still grappling with the aftermath of the Civil War, and the election highlighted the deep divisions that remained. Samuel Tilden, a Democrat, won the popular vote. However, the electoral votes in several southern states were contested, leading to a prolonged and contentious battle over the results. However, the outcome in several southern states was contested. The disputes over the electoral votes led to accusations of fraud and corruption, further inflaming tensions. The election was ultimately decided by a congressional commission, which awarded the presidency to Republican Rutherford B. Hayes. This decision was part of a larger political compromise that had far-reaching consequences. The Compromise of 1877, which resolved the disputed election, marked the end of Reconstruction. In exchange for the presidency, Hayes agreed to withdraw federal troops from the South, effectively ending efforts to enforce civil rights protections for African Americans. It also ushered in an era of Jim Crow laws in the South. These laws institutionalized racial segregation and disenfranchised African Americans, undoing many of the gains made during Reconstruction. These laws disenfranchised African Americans for decades to come. The legacy of this period would shape the social and political landscape of the United States well into the 20th century, highlighting the long and difficult struggle for civil rights.